Hello, welcome everyone to this stream. I have the immense pleasure of welcoming Matthias Wüllenweber, the co-founder of ChessBase and also the head of programming. Welcome, Matthias.
Hello, welcome. Hi.
Very nice to have you. This is the first time you are on ChessBase India channel, so very nice to have you because you, along with Frederick, are two of the people who founded ChessBase way back 3 decades ago. So it's so
Yeah,
nice to have you here.
yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure for me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, guys, today it's a very interesting stream. ChessBase has come up with its latest version of its flagship program called the ChessBase 16, and it's used by just about all the top players in the world, by amateurs, by every tournament player. And the nice thing about this is that it was launched, ChessBase first version was launched how many years ago, roughly, Matthias? Would it be like 30 years ago?
Definitely, yeah. The first version was launched in 1986, so 34 years ago,
Wow.
on the Atari computer, because the personal computers were much too expensive in this time for a poor student like me. I couldn't afford that.
Wow. And I have one picture here which I wanted to just show the viewers.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, it's actually the start, yeah, of ChessBase. This is would it be 80?
Indeed, yeah. Yeah, we already have an office, so we already, I think we sold some programs, so we were able to pay rent here.
Okay.
Yeah, and like in the early days, and well, the story of ChessBase is very much influenced by the ideas and the input of Garry Kasparov, who was very attentive for new technologies, immediately understood the power which computers would have for preparation, for storing chess information. And so he guided us a lot in the early days and later also.
Yeah, yeah. And you look very young here, and
Yeah,
it's a very nice picture.
young
Uh,
and thin. Yeah.
young and thin. By the way, in the chat we have Frederick as well, who sends his greetings to me and you as well. And it's such a nice thing because you are here, also Frederick is here, and that's how it all began many years ago. So ChessBase 16 was launched just 10 days ago, and we are very excited. In fact, we have people who are watching this, who will be watching this, who have bought this program already. There'll be several who would be understanding it and then getting it, and there are people who also have questions that they would like to ask to you.
Mhm.
So shall we check check it out?
Sure.
I have shared my I have made a desktop capture here so that everyone can see what is going on my screen. And this is ChessBase 16 here. Uh, Firstly, I like the logo very much. The key.
Yeah, nice to hear. We got this feedback from many people. We even started printing T-shirts with it, and
Ah,
yeah, and also masks to put to cover your mouse with the Red King. And
really?
because so many people like this logo. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. By the way, we have one question by Nikhil Mitra who says, is there a chance that ChessBase would support running on Linux or Mac in the future?
There's definitely a chance, but at the moment we're busy basically with web stuff, and so we understand that the market share of Mac and Linux is really rising, and yes, there's definitely a chance for that, but we haven't started with it yet.
Okay, okay. So, shall we check out what, according to you, would be the most important thing or the improvement on in ChessBase 16 or the new feature that you are very excited about?
What I personally like very much, and where also was my main contribution to the program, I'm still involved a lot with writing the code also, is the concept of surveys, which if you open a board window, we can demonstrate this.
Okay.
Now you could enter some moves here, whatever opening we would like to look at.
Let's say I would like to look at Queen's Gambit.
Yeah. And okay, that would be fine. And now we click in the notation, we click on the surveys tab.
Okay, so here
And
this is a new one. So there was
yes.
notation, reference, replay training already there. Surveys
Yeah.
is a new feature. Okay.
Okay, and so let's describe what happened here. You see, opening preparation, opening research with ChessBase until now in the previous 15 versions was always very position-based, move-based. You have the possibility to look at all moves and games played in a certain position and all the statistics and so on. We have many possibilities, the live book, the reference database, online database, but it's also always a bit short-sighted because it only gives you the information about one position. And here you can immediately see that with the survey, we have input for all opening variations being played in this position. Wow. And what I really like is that you can use those surveys as suggestions for your own repertoire. And if you look at the top line, at the input choices we have for surveys, you can see that you can choose the style and the depth of the variations. For example, you could create an opening survey, a repertoire suggestion as an attack player, if you're an attack player.
Yeah.
Or you could do, I want to have the latest in theory. I want to play what the top grandmasters play. I want to have something fashionable. Okay, so you did something interesting here. You requested the attack survey on master level.
And yes. So basically, there is attack, there is master, and it's from white or black. Okay, I want to see it from white, so I click white here, right?
Yeah, and please click on club or tournament level, because not all surveys for all positions have already been prepared by us or other people. I think, this is at the moment, you could now create this survey.
I can click on build survey, yeah?
Yeah, if you have a mega database installed.
Yes, I have it. So I'll click on build survey. So if there are two ways, right? One is that surveys are already stored on the cloud.
Sure.
And if they're stored, it would automatically drop down whatever is there.
Indeed. Yeah.
But if it is something like a new position, then you need to click on build survey, and then it uses from the mega database, for which you will need mega database.
Yeah, and this is an interesting example. We didn't prepare this. We just clicked some random things together, you and me.
Yeah.
And now you can see the attack survey, the attack idea against Queen's Gambit is, of course, castling queenside.
It's going long castle in all lines.
Very nice. It's a very sharp line, which you see being suggested here. It's not the main line, but it demonstrates nicely how different the styles are of the surveys you can create or call up with ChessBase 16.
Wow.
And there is a crowd intelligence concept here, like with the live book. If you have created this survey from your mega database, obviously this is no secret opening preparation, it's just information from the mega database. Then this will be uploaded to the server after processing has finished, and it will be available for the next person to call up on this position.
So it's like this let's check function, yeah?
Yeah, indeed. Unless if you don't like this, you just click the little offline checkbox, which will avoid uploading, and then no information will be shared with the cloud. Yeah.
Okay. So this one I have chosen club level and attack, yet it's going quite deep, yeah, in general, like a lot of lines here.
Yeah, this is a bit much for club level, but the reason for this is that the well, Queen's Gambit just has so many
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
and so if there are many games, it tends to have more variations. And if you go in crazy rare positions, you will not get any version at all. But you can click on easy, then you will have less lines.
Mm. I'm just
It's an
very
important point, what you mentioned. Normally, if you have chess books, you are overloaded with information, and this here will just try to filter it out better, what is important.
right.
But we can stop anytime. It's
Yeah, I am actually very keen on seeing how deep it goes, and then basically once I have this ready, I can actually save it, right? So it becomes like my opening file.
yeah, it will not only be saved in the cloud, it will, you can also save it, of course, as a basis for your own preparation and analysis work. Hmm.
Wow.
If you click copy after it finishes, it will now soon be over, I think.
Yeah, it's
Um,
done.
yeah, then if you click on the copy button, then it will be copied into your
Ah,
main
the
notation.
main notation. Okay.
Yeah, you could achieve this same with Control C, Control V, Windows copying, but this is to make it very clear that you can copy it. Now it's a normal chess-based game. It can be analyzed. It can be saved in the database.
Wow. Wow. So basically I go to surveys and I just make any moves that I want here, and I just choose what type of, so there is a tradition. What is a tradition mean?
This is just the main lines. It's always, you see, the main line is the move with most games being played here, but this is not always, and this is very interesting, the move which is nowadays to be considered the best, but it's the traditional main line. I recommend, if you really want to have a up-to-date, cutting edge repertoire, then please choose fashion. Fashion will generate
The latest.
the best theory. Mm.
Okay, got it. And sidelines would mean sort of the sidelines that are played in this.
Yeah, it will avoid main lines and will look for lines which score well, which have been played by reasonable grandmasters. So the lines are sound,
Hmm.
but they are not very deep. So it's an efficient way to build an opening repertoire. I like this, to play sound lines, no crazy lines, but which are not so well known. So I don't have to prepare so deeply.
Wow, nice. And if we go to Gambit, then there will be all these pawn sacrifice lines, yeah?
Yeah,
In the
I did an interesting experiment. I looked up in what are the most important gambits in chess. There's a nice Wikipedia article about gambits in chess, and I printed out the list of all gambits. And our survey generation reproduces nearly every existing gambit. Well, it's easy; it just looks for sacrificing material in the variations, with the exception of, I think, Toulouse Geller gambit, but there it chooses an even sharper line, which even sacrifices a piece or so. So it's
Wow, wow.
uh,
By the way, while we are talking, something very interesting happened right now. This is something
yeah,
popped up on my screen. Interesting opening theory. I think we should discuss this also at some.
yeah, sure, yeah,
It keeps coming up in between, like whenever I'm
yeah.
working, and it's very exciting for me because it says interesting opening theory, Cherniak versus Potapova, move number 10.
Yeah, we can just click on it and look what happens.
Okay.
It will now download. So it opens a database of all important recent theory played in the last 3 or 4 days. And you
Ah,
see the game of Cherniak versus Potapova
yes,
is
here.
last in the list. You can double click it and we can have a look at the game, why this might be interesting, this last game.
Yeah. Just a second.
Yeah, it opened a database from our live server.
Yeah. This one is, yeah, novelties. Yeah. Just a second. Let me open
Yeah,
it.
we can just click. If you see the game is already selected in the list, it's game number 100.
Yeah.
And if we double click it, we can have a look why.
Yes.
Aha, yeah, this is interesting. Okay, so there's an annotation. The system, the logic behind this found an interesting variation and says, okay, knight c3, it's not the main line, but it's currently scoring much better than the main line. So here something new is happening here in theory, in this English variation. And for example, if you retract one move to bishop b7, and now open up the reference. Let's have a look why this is meaningful here for opening theory. Okay, click reference.
Yeah, just a second.
And now if you look at the window on the left, the statistics, the move statistics for this position, then we see that there are two other moves which are played more often than this move, but their score don't score so well for white in recent strong grandmaster games. And so this game, this move knight c3, I think you could even see it in reference that it might get an exclamation mark if you click on the reference tab in the notation. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, now it will work.
Yeah, here, yeah, that's.
So just.
Yeah, we did position after bishop b7. Okay.
So knight
one move, retract.
Yeah.
One more retract. Excellent. This is the position we would want to look at.
Okay. So d3 is played more number of times, but knight c3 scores much better.
Yeah, and it also gets this hot marker, which means it's being played recently by strong grandmasters, and so this is basically the recommended line. This is what you really should play in this position, and not the moves which are played much more often in the past. And so whenever our analysis software detects such moves, then it remarks on them and says, okay, something interesting is happening in a variation. Have a look at it if you play this line.
And do you think like it also gives just like novelty, or it also shows things like this as you mentioned right now? Because knight c3 is not really a novelty, yeah?
No, but I think this is the more interesting position in this line. You see, every game in chess has a novelty, maybe just because I forgot the theory. So I play a bad move and it's a novelty because it hasn't been played before, but it's not good. And so not every novelty in chess is interesting. And the question which we posed ourselves for ChessBase 16 is, what is an interesting novelty? And actually, this thinking was inspired by Fabiana Caruano, who visited our office, and we have then produced this interesting DVD about the rule opus.
Yes.
Where Caruano is really brilliant, and he required us to do more about this novelty subject in ChessBase, because he was not happy when he installed new games from the mega database update. He wanted to understand immediately what's happening in opening theory in the last week or last 2 weeks. And when thinking about this, we found that the novelty is interesting, but it's much more interesting to see what's happening before the novelty. Is there an interesting sideline? Is a move being played that's more scoring better, and why is the grandmaster going into this variation? And this is what we tried to analyze and to present for you with ChessBase 16.
Oh. So basically it means that any positions which have certain interesting moments would be captured and then would be put up in this live button here.
Yes.
And it would come to you. So it's not only novelties, yeah, which come here. There are also some other things.
Yeah, what I like very much is tactics. You see, we are harvesting simple tactics from the games played live. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's trivial, and we are harvesting this automatically. And So a chess trainer could look at this and see, well, is this valuable? Is this interesting? If yes, then well, this is a bit trivial here, but there are others are possibly more interesting. And for example, we have people just going through this and selecting the most interesting stuff, so that every day there's new and fresh input on our tactics training platform.
Amazing.
So it grows every day by new positions. So it grows and grows and grows, and so you can be sure that you always get new and fresh tactics.
In fact, it's so nice that it gives the last move as black, and now it's white to play. And you can think here what should be white's best move, and then you kind of figure out e7 because it's about to queen, and then queen to f7, stopping the pawn from queening, and knight f5. Wow.
Kills. Yeah.
Very, very nice. Actually, it's very useful for just because it's like skilling open was going on right now, and I can just click here and try to figure out from Karyakin and Anton Guyaro's game. Like here, it's black to play.
That was a nice one. Yeah, this is a decoy sacrifice.
Bishop h3, bishop h3, king h2, and queen f1. Very nice.
Yeah.
We have Grandmaster Srinath Narayanan in the chat, and he says, haven't explored ChessBase 16 a lot, but I see there are a lot of new features. ChessBase 16 probably the best since ChessBase 7. That's what he says.
That's very kind of you, very kind. I'm very pleased, of course. But I also like ChessBase 15 and ChessBase 14. I think we also get good stuff there.
Yeah. I guess Srinath prepares very heavily. In fact, he was there at Hamburg as well with he's Nihal Sarin's trainer.
Yes,
and nice to know that he's here. And Sahil Tiku, who's also a strong chess player, he says that many new players wanted more info about ChessBase 16. So thanks a lot for doing this. Build offline option makes a lot of sense. Repertoire based on style is a nice function. Yeah, we have to get back to this repertoire because we came to this novelty feature. But so this is tactics here, and you see there are also novelties that are being constantly created. I think in a day there are at least 10 or 15 positions which are updated, right?
Yes, yeah. You can just look through this database and look for interesting stuff on your own, whether you can sort by your own variations. You might not be interested in every. For example, here is something, this game of Rian Satsev, it's an interesting novelty, which means a novelty being played in a position which also has been played by other grandmasters, and which is leads to a reasonable evaluation for white. You see, every game has stored an evaluation profile, the profile at the bottom of the notation. And so if this move, 95 here, leads to a position which it's okay for white, you see the evaluation is rising after the novelty. So the system assumes that this must be a move worthwhile looking at. And it's also important that the other players are strong, which have played this position previously. So it's not some crazy amateur sideline, but which is interesting theory. Then this gets this blue marker, we call it a medal, and it's being denoted an interesting novelty, which if you play this line, you might have a look at.
Wow, amazing. So people can just go through these games, and it's also possible to sort of make a tree out of this, like I guess Control A and Shift Enter. Yeah, that's the right way.
Sure. Yeah.
So you can do Control
Interesting
A.
Idea, yeah.
And then you can go through these games. Or also, I think if you do Control A and just press Enter, then it puts everything in one game. Yeah, it might take some time, but.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. That's. I think you created a book now, an opening book.
Yes, I created a book.
Interesting to play against, of course, also. But merging the games, which you also suggested, is maybe a better idea to see everything in one huge notation. But this might take some time because it's many games, many variations. They're all annotated. And
Yeah. It may take a lot of time, and there are a lot of medals and all of that. But I
yeah,
think once done, you will get everything in one place. Like, oh, it's
yeah.
done.
Let
It's
me
done.
let me show you something interesting, which is also new about ChessBase 16. No, if you create a crazy game like this with thousands of
this
variations,
this has this has so many variations because
yeah,
100 games and each game had so many lines.
you see, when we did this survey and we did surveys on master level, and then we suddenly found, oh my God, this is such a huge theory, and how can one player handle this? Then we introduced this new toolbar on the right, and there you
This
can,
one. Okay.
yeah. For example, you can, if you click
Wait.
on the second button from the top,
Let me
it means
bring it.
on the new toolbar on the right.
Yeah. Now everyone can see it because it was
I see.
slightly
Okay,
getting
yeah.
cut. Yeah.
You see, we have new buttons there to handle the notation, especially huge notations like this, which create a lot of time to generate.
Yeah. Here. Yes.
So the second from the top, it will tell you fold all variations. And if you try this, suddenly it becomes much more manageable because all the variations are folded away.
Oh wow. Oh, it becomes so small.
Yeah, indeed, but it is
It
not
was so
small at all.
big. It was.
Yeah, it's not small. So let's have a look at the Sicilian. And now we could click on E4, C5. We could click on the little plus. There's a little plus in
Here.
front of the
Yeah.
C5. And you open the C5 branch. Then you can open the knight F3 branch. And
Yeah.
you see,
I have to. Okay.
you get the idea. The idea is that you can manage
Here. Yeah.
huge variation trees without using up too much space on your
Oh, this
screen.
is beautiful. In fact, this helps when you do a lot of opening preparation with a lot of
Oh, yes.
lines,
Yeah.
and it's very useful there. So this is to fold all the variations in. This
Yeah.
one is switch.
Well, this is switches. If you don't like this, if you want to use the old, you can switch this off. And then there's one very interesting thing is the microscope. That's the fourth button from the top.
Okay.
This focuses on the current variation and folds away everything else. This is, well, in the starting position, it will not do much, but if you're deep in a variation.
Okay, let's say if I go in this
Yeah,
line
yeah, yeah.
and I'm here, and if I do this,
Microscope will fold everything else away, which is not this variation with starting with
okay, cool. Yeah, that's good. So basically this entire thing is related to the variation I'm looking at, and then everything is folded away. Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
And this unfold all variations, third one is in the game notation.
Yeah, it explodes everything. So you will have your huge.
Choose a font for the, okay, choose a font. Switch between different variation structures.
Some people like a different style of how the variations are displayed, and you can toggle this. And you see, basically, it's not very visible with folding active. Basically, the buttons on the right-hand side control how the notation is being presented to you.
Okay.
It's very interesting because usually if you do tactics, then you will have a training position in the notation, and this will hide away the solution.
This one, yeah, the ask training questions.
If you do the tactics database, which we looked at earlier.
Okay, let me check. By the way, this was a very risky thing I did because I tried to take in 100 games into one one game, which is very heavy, but it did not crash. Nothing happened. That's amazing.
It's an interesting test. We have not prepared this together. So
I'm taking a lot of risk today, but yeah, it's so okay. Tactics, and let's say I go here, and if I say this one. Ah, okay. Then it folds. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and if you now hit the key F11, you can load the next game, and then you can just think about, you can execute the move and say, okay, what's the
Oh,
best?
this is cool.
This is
Yeah.
nice, very nice move for black here. I think everybody sees this.
Well, let's ask the chat, guys. What do you think? Black to play. Let me flip it. Black to move here. Do you find the move? What is the best move in this position? Um,
What is it indeed? Yeah, I thought it was easy, but it's not so easy as I thought.
What's your strength, Matthias? What would be your chess strength like?
I'm about 90 to 90-50 on good days.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice, nice. So
Sure.
you're very strong.
Yeah, I really love chess. I have to say that.
Silent Nemesis says queen takes g2 followed by knight f4. I think you
Yes.
may lose a piece, yeah, there, because queen takes g2, king takes g2, knight f4, just king moves away, knight d3 and knight d3, and you might be a
Yeah.
piece down. So perhaps not that. Yes, Harsh Pandit, Gautam Bala, you are right. I think first go knight f4, just straight away.
I think it's very simple. It's not as interesting as I thought.
No, but it's a nice move, because I see a lot of people can fall for this trick here. Queen takes g2
Yeah.
and then they lose a piece. So knight f4 is a nice move.
This is just it's a double attack. The software which looks for combinations sees there's a double attack, and you see on our tactics server, tactics.chessbase.com. Of course, we have people who have maybe a rating of 900 or 1000, and it's important also to have easy positions.
Absolutely.
And to harvest easy positions, and well, we all had to think about it for a bit, so it's not that trivial.
Yeah.
So but there's a clear solution in this position.
Very nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this training, and the last one is delete all variations. Okay, got it.
That's
So until now we have seen one feature is about the opening surveys, which we are yet to finish, but there is live feature, which is a new one here, which comes here, and that has new opening novelties. It has tactics from recent games, and I see a lot of games also here from recent tournaments.
Yeah, this is, you see, all the games which are broadcasted live on our page live.chessbase.com are mirrored into ChessBase, so that you don't have to download PGN if you want to analyze the games and have them immediately there. It's just a shortcut for a ChessBase user if you want to look at interesting new material.
But this is amazing, because I was, earlier, whenever a big tournament would get over, I had to go to some website and try to download the games and then look at it, or maybe from ChessBase website and so on. Here it's like, it's there in your ChessBase itself. So let's say yesterday, there was this game between Anish Giri and Magnus Carlsen, and it's all there already here.
Sure, yeah.
So it doesn't update real time, right? It updates only after it's over.
It updates whenever you click on the live. Then it, for example, if it stores only the PGN. Of course, if the game is not being broadcasted in real time, for that you would have to go to the web page live.chessbase.com. But as soon as it is finished, it's stored in the database, and yeah, you're right. Only the completed games are in there.
Okay. So once the games are over, then they come here, and sometimes they are also analyzed with tactical analysis. So you can also get some very interesting inputs over here. By the way, this clicking of this game, this is something new I see. I mean, it was there, but it's used much more in ChessBase 16.
It's a link. You can click on this game. So any game which is quoted in analysis is now being loaded from the online database, so you can see the full game here. It's just I think this was just the opening novelty quote.
Yeah.
And you can go back to the original game by clicking restore game.
True. Okay, brilliant.
this feature is heavily used in the surveys because of the strong grandmasters are quoted when they play a line.
Yeah, I saw that when I was preparing some line. Okay, so this is all about the live feature, everything here. I would like to just go back once to the survey feature again.
Mhm.
And I would like to ask the chat here if there is some opening that you guys would like to uh, know about, and we can try it out here. So if you can tell us your favorite opening, one of them, and I'll try to see through the chat as to which one is said more times, and then we'll try to create a survey on that. Just to ask you, what does this with evaluations, should we tick it or should we not tick the with?
Well, it is. It will for every position which ends a line, where usually you have a quote of a famous game. It will introduce an evaluation, and these evaluations can be really, really deep because they are queried from the live book, from the Let's Check. And so then you have evaluated opening variations. I would recommend using this because it gives you an engine evaluation for free for every variation you
Okay.
obtain here.
Got it. So I'll tick this right now so that the evaluations come. And what is merge here?
Merge means normally whenever you enter a new line, the notation will be replaced by the new survey. But you can also nest surveys, which means you start with a simple, from some simple positions like we had with the Queen's Gambit, and then you go into the deeper position and you say, okay, let's have another survey here. And then the two surveys are merged into each other. So you can create huge, huge opening books by this.
Now I understand why you have these features on the right, because the surveys can really create huge amount of data, and then those folding of variations can be very useful.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, there are so many people who have asked so many different things. Here, Ivan's Gambit, Stafford Gambit, Wing Gambit, King's Gambit, Sicilian Najdorf. I guess let's try Stafford Gambit because that is very interesting. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight F6, Knight takes E5, and Knight C6. This is the Stafford Gambit which a lot of people play.
Let's not do master here. Let's do it on club level also.
Okay, let's do it on club level, and let's do it from black side.
Yeah.
And let's say build surveys here.
Okay, there are not many games played with this.
Yeah, this is not such a played option. Let's try King's Gambit, shall we? F4.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and let's say King's Gambit F4 for club, and let's say from white. And it comes. It's already on the server since 52 days. Okay. And if I do tournament, then I can build it on my own. Yeah. So basically, for people who are very serious about preparation, they can actually use the other tournament master and all with the mega database. But those who are at the club level can just click on club and they get a ready-made thing which is already on the cloud. Okay. Okay, got it.
So you can already see that it also starts quoting strong games here in the end of variations. So you can look at those games and see what kinds of types of positions arise in strong grandmaster games in these variations.
Very interesting.
You see, if you do something like surveys, then this changes the user experience or the user interface, because you suddenly see, okay, we need new functionality to make this more useful for people. But this functionality in itself, like the folding of variations or the game quotes, are also interesting in other contexts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what one could do basically is, once this survey is created, they can create a new database of King's Gambit, and they can
Yeah,
just copy it and paste it there, and then they can have more games below it, and you have your opening prepared. Earlier, to tell you the truth, when I was playing professionally, to build such a thing would take at least 4 to 5 hours or maybe more, to go through, and
yeah,
and it would take a lot of time. But now it's just sort of ready made here, and then you can fine tune it basically. But this is all data driven, yeah. Like if it is said by white, this position is from white's end, then whatever scores the best for white is recommended. Is that right?
yeah. That's a very important point. That it's for white, it will normally do in a normal repertoire only try to choose the best move according to the style. If you have an attack repertoire, the best move will be a different move like than in a positional repertoire. And there's one exception. I think it's if you click on tournament level or master level in tradition, then it will also give alternatives for the site which you create the survey for. And we now hit this because you now see this will be a repertoire for white, but it gives alternatives for white.
Yes, yes. I see on third move it's given bishop c4
Yeah.
as well as knight f3.
Normally it doesn't do this. It doesn't do it if you click fashion. It doesn't do it if you click sidelines. But this has been required by some testers, that they say, okay, we want to have the full theory, not only the repertoire suggestion. So we said, okay, if you click tradition, and it is reasonably deep, like tournament, master, or encyclopedia, then you get the full theory if you write about an opening book as an author also. And that's what we're doing here, and it takes a bit longer than it would take if you do fashion.
Yeah, yeah, got it. So tradition gives you the biggest one, and also master would be even more deeper than tournament, right? It would go even deeper.
Yeah. It gets deeper and deeper.
Yeah. I won't try it right now, but guys, you can try it whenever you want to. And encyclopedia would also be very deep.
That's crazy. That's what it means. It creates an encyclopedia. So if you print it out, if you say you do the starting position, ground position, you create encyclopedia for white, and you come back after 2 days or 1 day, then you have all existing opening theory.
Then you are an author already. You can publish a book.
Indeed, yeah.
Okay, amazing. And what about simplify? Because I understand positional is for positional players. What does simplify mean here?
The last two, simplified engine, these are quite cool. Simplify is, so if you find yourself in a tournament and you really have to draw your next game, it's very important. So you're not interested in sharp positions. You really want to find lines like Queen's Indian exchange variation or Berlin defense or stuff like that, which really simplify, which trade of queens, material, have symmetrical pawn structure and symmetrical material distribution and so on. So to hoover the board, so to speak, to take off the tension quickly is the simplification survey.
Wow.
An engine, it's something completely different. You see, normally the best move will be chosen by the style, attacking moves, fashionable moves. Here it will be chosen by an engine. So you can just click on it and try it out. You click on engine, this will not be on the server. And if you build survey now, we can abort this. You can just click whatever you like.
Let me do club and let me do say queen takes d4, okay? And from white.
We build this, and then you have to set a search time for every position the engine looks at.
What would be ideal according to you? Like
Yeah, it depends on your time, of course. I mean, to try it quickly, you can do 0 seconds, and then I think it will be half a second or so. And now the moves are not chosen by, okay, first it has to load the engine, of course.
And also I can choose the default engine as something,
Yeah,
some
of
other. Right
course.
now
Yeah,
it's
it
it
takes a
chooses
default.
the default engine, right? Which
Yes,
is there.
yes.
Okay, got it. Got it. I can choose another engine right now. It's the Deep Fritz, which is the default one.
So every move now has been generated by the engine, but the black moves are taken from theory. So
Oh, okay, okay. So white moves are the best ones according to engine.
indeed, yeah, yeah. And so if you do let it search for half an hour in every position, you might stumble upon novelties because the engine always selects the moves which it thinks best. Maybe they haven't been played before. But for this, there's a much better function even, which is also one of the interesting new things in ChessBase 16, which I'd like to point out in the live book.
Okay.
Uh, if we, yeah, there is a new function. It's called Novelty Mining.
Here, yes.
You see, when we discussed or thought about this novelty thing, we thought, how do people find novelties nowadays? How does a strong grandmaster find a novelty? And one way we came up with was to look at positions and find moves which are evaluated quite strongly by engines. So the engine is very happy about a move, but which hasn't never been played or only very rarely in this position. So that would be an interesting move to investigate. It might be a novelty.
Okay.
And obviously, this kind of method is something which you can do automatically. And we call this novelty mining because it's like Bitcoin mining. You invest a lot of computing power, maybe to find something quite valuable. And if you start this in this position, you probably not find anything, but just for the sake of demonstration, you click on novelty mining,
Mm-hmm.
you can say, okay, I want to search for white. I want
Okay.
to look at white
Yeah.
novelty.
Yeah.
And we want to look 5 moves deep. So the iteration trees will be nested 5 move deeps. And for our demonstration, we only search for 1 second. For serious work, you need to search much deeper.
Okay.
And then we give an evaluation range. Say, okay, we look at moves which are at least 20 hundredths of a pawn better for white. And if these moves are found, they are listed in this search.
What is 20, 100? It means 0.2, yeah?
Indeed, yeah, yeah. We call it centipawns, hundreds of.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And
And
finally,
99 means it's like
1 pawn.
one pawn. So I can
Yeah.
actually increase it to even
Five
more,
on
yeah?
one, winning a queen. Yeah. If you find a novelty which wins a queen, you are happy. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
It's open-ended.
Got
Yeah.
it. And already played is never.
Yeah, if a real novelty has never been played.
Okay, so
But
like,
you can also analyze every move, then, but that makes sense. We will probably not find novelties here, but now this will go through nested variations starting from here. It has found a move already, but it might not be a very good move because only 1 second of search time.
it has found this move, yeah? Queen d4 to c4 and
Has
queen
never been
d4 to
played
a4.
here. Yeah.
Okay, okay, interesting.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're generating a lot of theory here. That's a bit strange. Yeah, it is.
No, but this is very useful for someone. Let's say he's going to play a tournament tomorrow, and he wants to find a new idea just very quickly. He can use the novelty mining feature, right, in a given
Yes,
position.
indeed. Yeah.
And also someone could just set up a position, give it more depth, and then go to sleep, and then wake up in the morning and also get.
That's the idea. That's how the function should be used. You should not use it with 1 second of search time. That's a bit too optimistic here, I think, what the engine tells us.
Right.
all these functions, if you get bored with them, you can always stop them by clicking on stop on the, and then it will just gracefully exit the. It might also work closing, but I prefer to click on stop.
Here, stop
left corner.
Okay, got it.
And then it just finalize, and if you click close, you see all the annotations now. You see it has built a little tree. This hasn't been there before. And it now the engine tells you that Queen E3 might be a good novel. I don't believe that's an interesting novelty. It's just the very, very short search time.
No, but it's interesting because I know for sure that knight c6 queen e3 is one of the main moves here, which is not. So it says also to a6 you can maybe try it out. So it gives you an idea, a new thing to try. Okay. Got it. So this is how you use the novelty mining feature. Fantastic. I had one question. How is this survey function different from the opening report function that already existed before? Or is it like, because it used to create an opening report, right, earlier from any given opening position?
Yeah, it is more because the opening report was relying too much on simple scoring statistics. It always presents the moves which scored well in the past, but it doesn't reflect on first style, and it doesn't reflect on the score in recent Grandmaster games so well. And we look very much at the, whenever we do any move selection in surveys, or when we look at novelties, we always look at what has happened in recent strong Grandmaster games in the last 1 or 2 years. And then we try to detect trends and fashionable moves and use those moves for building surveys.
Got it. By the way, one question by Lion Anish says, novelty mining is just an implementation of backtracking, or is there some AI involved?
No, this is absolutely simple recursive backtracking in a variation tree using the variations stored in the live book and analyzing. It's not AI, because it's just looking at engine evaluations. There is, I think, the survey building, looking for attacking repertoires or for positional repertoires. So this is more, there's more intelligence in this.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, that QGD line where it was long castling every time, that seems very I cannot wait to try out this simplify function, because then it's like which simple lines it would suggest, and that would be very interesting.
Yeah, but we'll also find that you cannot simplify every opening. If you play the knight off and you suddenly want to simplify things, not going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have seen the live features, the survey features, the novelty mining, the folding of variations, and keeping it well. Is there anything else that is major that we are missing out?
Yeah, all these things which we discussed, about the novelty stuff, and so they all also are now available in tactical analysis. So this tactical analysis is one of my favorite features, which just analyzes the whole game. And this is now also available there. So this will be automatically used. So automatically interesting openings will be pointed out there. And one other feature is also interesting.
You mean tactical analysis means if I pick up, let's say, any game, for example.
Yeah, good idea to demonstrate it there.
Okay. Maybe I'll use my game. Like, let's say if I have certain game here which is not annotated, like this one. Then I can just right click and use tactical analysis, right?
Yeah, you can also do it in the board. It's even nicer. If you go to analysis tab and call up tactical analysis here, then let's do it 0 seconds. Zero. It's just for this must.
Yeah.
It's quite okay because a modern engine which analyzes for 300 milliseconds gives reasonable results already. You see that's fast analysis, and we did some work to improve this. It's better in detecting tactics, combinations. It's better in analyzing the opening. And,
so now tactical analysis is much more like serious in terms of the results that it gives. Yeah.
Yeah, it has been improved. Yeah, it's one of my pet functions which I like really a lot. And there's also a bit of AI in there because it not only points out mistakes. Everybody can check a game with an engine and say, "Oh, there's a mistake." It tries also to point out moves which seem obvious, but which shouldn't be played, like grabbing a pawn, and it tries to explain why you shouldn't grab this pawn because it gets punished by some tactics. And here it's, of course, doing the normal thing, which means suggesting improvements.
Yeah.
Tactical analysis will detect combinations and put diagrams for strong moves, so that the game becomes much more readable, much more easy to look at immediately in the notation.
True. So basically, tactical analysis feature did exist earlier, but now it has been improved.
Yeah, you see, when you develop software, a developer likes to do new functions, and that can be a problem, and also a trap which I tend to fall into. It's always more exciting to do a new function like survey, it's new research, and you cover new ground. It's more exciting to do this than to improve existing functions. But for the experience of quality for users, it's also important that you do not forget about the existing functions. So, for example, I did some work in also for the presentation of variations in the reference search, just small things which users might not even notice, but which just make the program nicer overall. One important thing was something completely under the hood, not visible at all. My colleague Jeroen and Matthias, they improved the performance and size of our search booster in the reference search a lot. So the search is just faster and takes much less space on disk, which is useful for people with small computers. It's something which you don't realize if you use the program, but it's important for the quality.
So you mean to say that if someone now uses the reference feature, it would be much faster and would hang less than earlier? Yeah, that's
indeed. Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, now we have the novelty, and finally we are done. Yeah.
Wow. And the entire game has been annotated with some improvements, with evaluations, some text, and wow, very nice. And what does this weighted error value? Does it mean the accuracy?
Yes, this is, you see, many people are familiar with the concept of centipawn loss for game. You see, if you play very precise, if you play like an engine, then you would not blunder anything, and then your average error in the game would be very, very low.
Okay.
And for example, here white has lost and white has made more mistakes. So at average, white has made an error of 0.88 pawns, while black, the winner, has only made an error in average of 0.38 pawns.
Got it.
And if Carlsen, for example, plays a rapid game, he tends to have an error of 0.1 to 0.2 pawns. And what we did is we not only built the simple average by looking at every move with an engine, we weight this. So a simple recapture, for example, or simple evading a check will weigh much less than a deep combination or deep blunder. So we call this weighted error value, which just is it gives you an indication of how precise the game was played. it also, I have to say, gives you an indication about cheating. So if you are a 1500 player and you play weighted error values below 0.2 consistently, then something fishy is going on. This
Nice.
can happen.
And I also like it very much because let's say sometimes when you're playing an end game and there are 10 different ways to win, but one of them is easier way to win, then it may give that as an error, but in weighted error value it would not do that because the value of that is not so high because it's already winning over there.
It's absolutely true.
Beautiful, beautiful. Amazing. Okay, I'll save this so it doesn't I don't lose. Okay. This is very interesting. I also saw one new tab here. I think it didn't exist before. Is my moves here? It was there in I think on the online ChessBase account, but now it's in ChessBase 16.
Oh yes, yeah. You can manage your opening repertoire in the cloud, and the nice thing is that you can use this either in ChessBase, or you need to have a ChessBase account here, and you can use this in mymoves.chessbase.com if you are on the road, and you can analyze it in ChessBase in the My Moves tab, and basically you can maintain a small repertoire for white and for black, and just well in the web you can drill this.
Yes.
Here also we can just we might generate a little repertoire, but this is probably this will take
It
much
will take
long.
time. Yeah.
No, we shouldn't do that. But
I had a repertoire on the web that was already there. So
we should load white or load black here at the bottom. Then you can look at that.
yeah, it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use it. I use it quite a lot. So
yeah.
So this already is here, and I can actually add things over here through ChessBase 16 itself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if say I'm looking at let's say this game, and I want to add this into my repertoire as white. How do I mark this move?
Let's say you want to play this
here.
bishop e2 variation. Yeah, that's right. Mark as my move.
Guys, you may not be able to see it because I am situated over it on the video, but I'll show you. Here is the thing. If I extend it, here is the star, and you can just mark it as my move, and then it gets added into your repertoire as well. Oh, this is fantastic. So I can then connect my ChessBase account to ChessBase 16. I can add it from here, and if I go to a tournament, I don't have my laptop, I can access it through the phone as well. And
indeed,
got it.
There are many functions to drill to learn your repertoire by heart. It's important where you don't have to, you not only store your repertoire, you have to store it in your brain. That's the more important thing. And in ChessBase in the web, there are drilling functions to help you
can I
memorize.
Drill here as well on ChessBase 16?
Yeah, it is. If you look at training, the training tab, then you can see replay, which it's not the feature, but this is just.
I can go through my variations. I can put up the repeats.
You get a break, you relax, and your repertoire will be replayed for you.
Okay.
On Fritz, there are drilling functions which will drill your repertoire. And in the web, you also have this. If you just visit mymoves.chessbase.com, you can drill this repertoire.
Yeah.
On the road with your mobile or with your desktop.
Got it. Okay. Cool. So this is fantastic. Wow, this is very exciting. I already see a lot of interesting features that I can use. Is there anything finally? I see that there is a shop button here, which is new. Yeah.
Yes, this is quite nice because if people buy stuff then well, you can just see what's new. It's you can see what's new from ChessBase. It will show you icons and quick information. What's new.
These are the new products that have come up.
Recent new stuff. Yeah.
Amazing.
Or sometimes we are working on that you will be able to download little demo databases. This is not finished yet, but that's something in the making. Stuff which we recommend. This recommendations is interesting because if you you click on any game in the quick list at the bottom.
Which one?
Whatever
here,
you like.
Okay, here.
Any game, and then you do 1 or 2 moves. It might change. You don't have to load it. You can just do it in the notation at the list and on the bottom right. The small, yeah. You just click on D5 and knight C3. Now this recommendation will change. It will show you different products.
Okay. So if I play some other line here, then it'll show the products in the ChessBase shop as to what moves. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
so
it does a little download, and then now you see after D4 you can have the top attack or recent stuff which
very
fits to
interesting.
this. It's a hidden feature which we are experimenting with that. It's not very obvious.
There is also a new feature which I saw, which is about the easier download of mega updates.
Yeah, quite important. Yeah. We were also a request of Fabiano Caruana, who said, why do I have to do all this work every week to download the games, to append it to mega database? It's repetitive. You have to improve this, guys. It's boring. And of course, he was right. And so this is now the automatic updating of your mega database is basically done like the Windows operating system updates. The new games are downloaded in the background whenever your machine is idle. And when you click on this, it will tell you, aha, you have already 4 game updates available.
So 4 game updates means 4 weeks I have not downloaded, right?
Yeah, but it has downloaded this stuff for you in the background.
Okay.
And if you install this now, it will import this to your mega database, and you're done.
And does it also automatically complete the search booster as well? So I don't have to create a search booster again?
Yeah, it happens just as we are speaking.
This is fantastic because earlier, every time it's done?
Yeah.
So it means that if I now open a board and I do the reference feature, it won't create a search booster again.
Indeed, yes.
This is amazing. It saves, because earlier, every time you update your games, it would create a new search booster to include the new games that were downloaded, right? So
yeah, that was a bit silly. We had to improve this. Yeah.
Wow. This is nice. This is very nice. Got it. So this is, if you have a mega database and you can update the latest games every week now because of this. So guys, I think this is what I had. Matthias, is there any feature, or should I, if there are a couple of questions, I can ask people to ask them?
Yeah.
Okay. Silent Nemesis says, can you ask Matthias if there is an engineering blog for this?
Yeah, we have a file which we call in the installation the folder of ChessBase on your Windows. There is a text file which where we always write what we have added and what is new. Whenever we do an update, we document changes, bugs, and everything there. It's a little text file in the ChessBase installation directory.
Okay. Let me just check if there are. Onkar Ashish, what is the validity period? Onkar, there is no validity period. Once you get it, it works as long as you want to. So
Yeah. You just install it, and if you want to move it to another computer, you just deinstall it and install it again. There's no limit on this, of course.
there's one. Could you explain the parameters of Centipon analysis? Maybe it's it's too technical. I don't even understand the question so well, but maybe.
Uh, yeah, the point is that you look at every move with an engine, and if a player makes a move which is worse in the opinion of the engine, worse than the best engine move, then the difference of evaluations is called centipawn loss. For example, if you blunder a pawn has a centipawn value of 100. So one pawn is one pawn. So you blunder a pawn and the engine tells you, okay, you lost one pawn, and then you have this centipawn loss of 100 in one move. And but if all other moves in the game are precise, then they will have a centipawn loss of 0. So your average might still be low. So this is quite a good indicator about tactical precision. But still, I have to say that if I look at my own games, I'm really not a strong player, then I'm quite capable, like all of you, in certain games to play very precise. If everything is running well and you have a fantastic position, you simply find the best moves, even as a weaker player, and then you get a low centipawn average.
Got it. Okay. Earlier question from Mark Maynard, who says, can you restrict the games you don't want retrieved in a search, such as blitz games?
Yeah, blitz games is a problem. We call it top games, which means all games of top grandmasters in the reference, and all games of all historical famous players. It's on the bottom right. There is a little
Yeah,
checkbox, top games.
and there's a small checkbox on the bottom right called top games, and then okay.
Search will be faster, and you will only have the strong players.
Got it.
However, Blitz and Rapid, this is a very interesting discussion. I personally, I always think we should not suppress this information. It can be interesting what Carlsen plays in the Blitz game, but I hear this from many players. They say we don't want to see the Blitz games, and at the moment there's no real automatic way to filter this out. There are many ways to do it manually, of course, but we get this question a lot, and maybe we have to think about Blitz games. Especially nowadays, there's so many blitz games.
At least in the last few months, it has grown tremendously. Srinath Narayan says, does the hardware of your computer have an effect on centipawn analysis?
Yes, yeah, because the engine search quality depends on the speed of the machine. Having said that, my own experience is that modern chess engines search so quickly, so deeply, that even 1 second of search time on a not too fast machine can give very reasonable results.
Got it. Okay, fantastic, Matthias. That was tremendous. I have one last question. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and I have one question for you. You have been making so many softwares for ChessBase. You have made ChessBase, also I think Fritz. You have worked upon it, also the other ones, Mega. I'm sure there are inputs in every software. How do you keep on doing this over years? It's been almost 34 years, as you said.
Yeah, it is. You see, there's deep. I have to say, in one sense, I really love chess, and when I stumbled upon chess, I was already very old. I think I was 15 years old. It became really important in my life, and I bought a lot of chess books, and I was absolutely crazy about. I remember I bought the old informants. I spent my whole pocket money on buying the old opening encyclopedias, and I was really crazy about chess. and this feeling that this something wonderful. This has not lost me. Obviously, I have no time. ChessBase, for my personal motivation was I wanted to create ChessBase to become stronger to write this, but in effect it made me weaker because we spent so much on working it. But you see this contact with all the interesting people in the chess scene, with all these fantastic players, the possibility also you in your working day you suddenly you have to test a function and you do it on a recent game. You are involved so much in chess. This is very, very inspiring for all of us working in the company, and it's a dream job because you have, and the only you see there to sum up, there are two things which we always worry about. One is what will be the next big innovation? Will we ever be able to find a new innovation in ChessBase? And then when we find it, like the surveys, we say, oh my God, why have we never thought about this before in the last 10 years? Why have we never done this? It's so obvious.
So it's like you're never satisfied because you're always looking for a new feature, and once you get it, you're like, oh, we should have done that before.
Yes.
So right now, you're already thinking about what improvements or something. I mean, it's just 10 days, but already you would be thinking, okay, ChessBase 17 could have something more that could offer, yeah?
Yeah. There are always ideas around because you see, we have many interesting people in the company always discussing with each other. There are fantastic players visiting us, and talking to strong players is very inspiring because you suddenly see things from a quite different angle. And having said that, it's also important not to forget the interests and the aims of not top grandmasters, so that you do not only develop for strong grandmasters, but also for normal club players or weaker amateurs, and cater for their needs. For example, these simple opening surveys are aimed at amateurs, and
I think that's what makes ChessBase truly special, is that it can be used by someone who's just taking his first steps into chess, and it's also used by Vichy or Magnus Carlsen or all these world-class players. So it has something for everyone. And on that note, I would like to thank you, Matthias, for your time. Truly, you have revolutionized the world of chess through your innovations, and we are so glad that you could spare some time to interact with our viewers and show us the new features of ChessBase 16.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. It was wonderful, very entertaining. Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Guys, that was amazing. I have been using ChessBase since I was, maybe 12 or 13 years old. So it's been 17 years since I'm using it. And to speak with the man who has made it, to discuss with him itself is amazing. And I've always felt that when you are able to discuss it with the person who's made this software, it gives you a different perspective. Usually you know the features, but then when I asked him, he will tell his thought process behind it, and it's sometimes much different from the way we perceive it. And so it's very nice. I would say each one of you who's interested in sort of working on chess seriously should get ChessBase 16 and Mega Database 2021. The links are in the description. You can check it out. You can go to ChessBase India and you can check out the links. You can also go to chessbase.com if you are in Europe and USA, and you can get these things. And the main thing is that there are so many features over here that you need to explore all of them. Like today, what we did, we were not afraid to click somewhere, to do certain things, to click, and you need to explore this out. If you do that, I'm sure that you will be able to get the full value out of this software. Prajwal Bhatt says, loved the survey feature. Can you make a video on how to prepare repertoire and best practices for saving opening analysis managing databases? I will do that, Prajwal. In fact, this was my way of learning the deeper features of ChessBase 16, and you can expect more videos coming out from now on from my end, because now I understood some of the things at a deeper level, and I'll now try to use these features to explain to you how you can use it in practical sense as well. So thank you all for being here, for your kind attention. I'll be back today at 7:30 with a stream with the Olympiad for physically disabled, blind players and mute and deaf players. This is an amazing online Olympiad that's taking place. So we'll be there at 7:30, and at night we will have the commentary for Skilling Open. So until then, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Let me just make sure that you guys can see ChessBase, and make sure you make good use of this. Take care, guys. Bye bye.